Hey everyone, it's Natasha. Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would get on here today and do a canning video. It has been a while since I have done a canning video, and I think sometimes those of us that have canned a lot, canned for a long time, take it for granted that everyone else knows and is comfortable with canning as we are. So I need to can some beef stew for going into fall. I'd love to have jars of beef stew in the cabinet that we can just pull out and heat up and eat for dinner. Or I can give to a friend who needs a meal for church or whatever. I can give to my kids. They can take it to school or to their apartment and they can heat up, beef stew for dinner. Beef stew is not hard. It's a very simple recipe. I have a basic one that I'll link below. It is it calls for roast or stew meat, potatoes, carrots, onion, celery, and beef bouillon. So instead of sometimes I'll buy beef stew meat, but today they had a really nice choice top round roast boneless at Kroger on sale. It was on sale for $4.49 a pound, and this one is 4 pounder. So the recipe says 3 to 4 pounds worth of meat, so I think that'll be just about perfect. So I'm going to cube that up, and then we're going to put it in with the vegetables. And what's really nice about this recipe is you don't have to pre-cook the soup. You just put all the pieces in, and then it calls for water and beef bouillon. But honestly, I just canned a bunch of beef broth last week, so I'm going to use a jar of that to fill up my jars with. So come along with me as we can beef stew. Okay, I'm going to come back here instead of fast motioning through everything like I was before to show you. This is where I deviate from the recipe. I've been making beef stew for a long time. I helped my mom make beef stew growing up. We kind of added our own little touches to it. What we always do, which is not in the recipe, is we always add some tomatoes to our beef stew. It helps tenderize the meat and give the broth beautiful color, and it just tastes good. So what I do, from here, is I just take a can of tomatoes. Now if I have some home canned ones I can use those, but honestly the canned ones are just fine. So I just scoop up a few into each jar. We're getting towards the top, so just whatever will fit. And I'm not too worried about getting stuff on the rims, because I'm going to go back through with vinegar water and wipe these rims down real well when I'm finished, so that nothing will prevent the jars from sealing. And I like to use red gold tomatoes because they're growing and here in Indiana, and the factory is in Indiana, right down by Tipton. So if you're familiar with the area, red gold tomatoes are from Tipton, Indiana. So finished putting some tomatoes here, and like I said, I don't measure any of the ingredients. I just put in what looks good. If your family likes more potatoes than carrots, by all means put more potatoes in than carrots, or vice versa. If your family doesn't like celery, don't put the celery in it. If your family doesn't like onions, like I like onions, but my husband doesn't like onions, and he doesn't like to find them in his soup, so I'll show you the little trick I do to hide onions in some of my recipes, so that he doesn't know they're there. I'm going to mash these down because I still got to put my seasonings in. And then I'll just pour the juice, some of the juice on top, and it'll start filtering down through. And like I said, it gives the broth a really nice rich look and flavor. Okay, so there's the tomatoes, and then I'm going to start with the spices. Now the recipe itself originally only called for some salt, so this is my little hint to get my husband, and if you've got children that don't like a lot of onion or big pieces of onion, I use dehydrated onion, and this happens to be from Tastefully Simple, but you can use store-bought dehydrated onion, whatever you have. So I just, again, I'm not a good measurer, so to speak, so remember dehydrated onions will increase in size, so I eyeball it, but honestly it's probably like just about a rounded tablespoon per jar. Or teaspoon, I mean, per jar. Like I said, if your family loves onions, by all means, add more onions and make this yours. Okay, so there's the onion. And then we love us some garlic here. Garlic is our favorite thing. And so I've got some Italian garlic seasoning because I like to put Italian seasoning in my beef stew. So again, it's probably a little less than a teaspoon in each jar. We like our food to have flavor. So, and if your family likes it spicy, go ahead and add some hot sauce to it, if that's what your family likes. And notice I added mushrooms to mine, and that wasn't called for in the recipe either. So there's the Italian herb. And then last but not least, I'll add some seasoned salt. So this one, usually they say to add about a half a teaspoon per jar. So I'm just going to add a half a teaspoon of seasoned salt to each jar. Okay, then we're all seasoned. All we have left to do is add some beef broth, and I got a little trick with that, so hold on here a second. Okay, I'm back. Isn't that beautiful? It was so pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to add my beef broth. Like I said, the recipe actually called for water and beef bouillon, but I just canned some beef broth, so we're going to use that. It'll give it much more flavor. And then I use this little wooden skewer, bamboo stick, and what that does, it helps get the air pockets out, because the air pockets are bad. You do not want any air pockets when you're canning food. You want it all liquid. So I'm going to just start pouring that in. and let it slowly seep to the bottom of the jar. Don't pour it in too fast or you'll end up with a mess. Trust me, I've done it before. And you can see it filling up there, see? It's about halfway up now. So I've got some room to go. Okay, then just poke around. Make sure you get all those little air pockets out. And what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll fill all my jars, checking for air pockets, and then I will go back through when I'm done. See, there's an air pocket right there. So push that down, pushes the air pocket out. And once I've gone through and filled all my jars, I'll go back and check for more air pockets, because sometimes they will show up as the food settles in the jar. So there's your beef stew. Beautiful. Perfect coming up into fall. So we'll do one more jar. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to go ahead and finish filling these jars, and then when I get done, I will wipe the rims off with vinegar oil, and then vinegar water. Sorry, not vinegar oil, vinegar water. And then I will put them in the pressure canner at 10 pounds of pressure, because that's what it is for my elevation. You'll have to check and see what it is for yours. And then I will can them for 90 minutes, because these are quarts, and that's what you always can, is for the longest amount of time, which is the meat. So I will can them for 90 minutes at 10 pounds pressure. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think in the comments below.